Hello, everyone. Welcome to the continuation of my doctor series today. My name is Darren Jensen. I am the CEO and president of LifeVantage Corporation. I'm glad to have you with us today. Today, I have somebody from our corporate staff. He is one of our vice presidents of international, and he's over our European market. But in addition to being an incredible business person, he has an MBA and from a very good school. But also, he has a master's in chemistry, and he also has a PhD in biochemistry. And with that, I would like to introduce our vice president of Europe, Dr. Peter Vertighem. Peter?
Hello, Darren. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. We're glad to have you on our broadcast today.
It's exciting here in Denver for the Elite Academy. Fantastic.
Yeah, I never did mention we are in Denver right now, in the Mile High City. We're getting ready for our Elite Academy. And Peter travels around the world for us in addition to running our European market, and he does a lot of our product presentations. So, Peter, let's get started. First, how did you get it? I mean, first you're in business, but also you have a PhD in biochemistry. How did you get interested in biohacking?
Well, Darren, biohacking is the technology of the future. I mean, I got interested in nutrition and health a long time ago when I got I did my PhD research. I was involved in vitamin A research, and everybody knows that vitamin A is a very important phytonutrient, plays an important role in our vision. And after that, I got really interested in various nutritional health improvement concepts. I worked in prostate cancer, I worked in menopausal complaints, and we all know that nutrition is so essential for our health. And when I did that 4 years of PhD and then a few postdocs after that, I came into the business environment in nutritional companies, and I always developed dietary supplements, but most importantly, also did the clinical studies. I believe in clinical studies. We can't just sell products that are just based on stories. We have to prove that what we say is actually the truth, and that we do only with clinical studies. So I did many of those, but I believe in biohacking because, as I said, it's the technology of the future. It's really something quite unique. And when I talk about nutrition and health, I started by saying, everybody knows this is the truth, right? You need good nutrition in order to stay healthy. And you can use nutrition to improve your health over time. And people have done that since centuries. It all started with just filling simple gaps. Like say 200-300 years ago. I'm from Holland, by the way, and we had a lot of people sailing across the world, and when they didn't have a certain nutrients like vitamin C, they developed scurvy. We all know that, right? That was the first phase of nutrition, like filling a gap. And then it went on to thinking of prevention. Maybe we could take something extra when we're still healthy, like for osteoporosis, we could take extra calcium or vitamin D. And that's the second phase of nutrition intervention. And now we're via phase 3, 4, we're at phase 5, I would say, and that is nutrigenomics. And nutrigenomics is fascinating. It's really fascinating. It is improving what our body knows best, right? And that's essential. We have gone through, our bodies have gone through evolution for millions of years, and I can say our body knows exactly what it needs to do.
A question that I have, you mentioned that there are at least 5 different phases or generations of product, starting clear back from those that were simply preventing a deficiency all the way up to now nutrigenomics and genomics and the ability to upregulate gene expression. And before we get too far into that, let me just say that from a corporate standpoint, we don't want to imply that anything that we're talking about or any of our products treat, cure, diagnose, whatever that whole legal statement is, anything dealing with disease. So we are a nutraceutical product. We're a nutrigenomics product, not a drug. So, but with that, you were saying that there are 5 generations. Mm-hmm. As a company, we leapfrogged over multiple generations of technology to come to nutrigenomics, because really, I don't think we really have any competition. Is that what attracted you to LifeVantage?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, I've worked many years in what I would call traditional nutritional intervention companies, which focus on basically giving nutrients more of good nutrients. That's what they do. But we do something fundamentally different. We, as I finished just by saying that the last few minutes, our body knows exactly what it needs to do. Think about oxidative stress. Our body has developed mechanisms to counteract oxidative stress. Our body has done that because it knows through evolution that oxidative stress is very damaging to our health in the long term. And our body knows what to do, has developed these mechanisms, but sometimes due to our own fault, our own lifestyles, or due to our external factors, our body is not as efficient anymore to do that. And therein comes nutrigenomics. We can switch on those mechanisms that our body knows and has developed itself, and that's has developed itself. We just help them be better at what they're supposed to do. And that is a complete new way of thinking. We don't introduce something funny to our body. We don't try to make our body do something that it's not used to or creating side effects by doing so. We're just helping to regulate, to optimize our body's own function. And I think we're at the forefront of that technology development. And there will be companies that follow us at some point, but right now we're number one in this field, and we're gonna expand that knowledge throughout the world, and it's a very exciting opportunity for me. So that's why I'm here.
What would you say, Peter, is from a technology standpoint, because a lot of medical professionals may be watching this broadcast, and what would you important piece of technology that we have as a company?
Yeah, well, economics, but you can't see that by itself. You have to see it in a synergy. Interestingly, our products alone are a blend of synergistic ingredients. But products next to each other also form a synergy in itself. And synergy is what you see typically in natural products. You don't see it in pharmaceutical products. You know why? It's one molecule. One molecule in a pill does one thing. It does so, but that's the only thing it does. Natural products are typically working together. They're a blend of phytonutrients. They all have the little different aspects of our body, but combined, they have an explosive effect on the thing you want to create. And we have a lot of proof of that. And if you dive into our clinical research and our studies, you see that the individual ingredients that we've selected in our products have their effect. We knew that based on third-party research, but then we put them together, and then comes in the synergy, and that you see a massive double, triple, quadruple effect occurring simply by working on different aspects of the body, improving what our body knows best to do. And then, of course, the different products. I'm just talking now about synergy within Nerve2, for example, but think about Nerve2 and Nerve1 at the same time. I mean, it is a combination that is exactly focusing on the two major aspects that we're facing with the process of aging.
As I read books on biohacking, and for those of you that aren't familiar, the mission of LifeVantage is to biohack the aging code. And biohacking is the process of improvement. It's the process of manipulating a complex process. And definitely aging is a very complex process. So you're saying that from a technology standpoint, one of the most important pieces of technology is this synergy, if I understood you right, between the ingredients in individual products, but also the synergy in between different products. For instance, Nerve1 and Nerve2, which, if you want to explain kind of in general what Nerve2 is, and then what do those two things address?
Right. So, I think the biggest challenge we're facing in our health is aging as a whole. It's not a disease, aging, right? Aging is just normal. I mean, our body knows that we're aging. There's nothing wrong with that, nothing scary about it. But along with aging comes a lot of, functionality loss in our body. And there are many things that happen, but I would classify two most important things. One is slow accumulation of damage. And we're living, like, say, 20, 30, 40 years longer than 100 years ago. And as a result, so many different types of health concerns because they didn't exist because we never got to that age. When we live 40 years old, we don't develop cardiovascular disease because you don't live long enough. Now, and there are many health concerns that are attributable to this slow accumulation of damage, and that's free radicals. That's oxidative. It's a normal process that happens all the time. We can't avoid it. We in fact need it, right? Because oxygen, simple thing we breathe, is the biggest source of oxidative stress, right? And we need it. We can't live without it. So it's part of our normal life, but we want to make sure that it does not damage all kinds of vital organs, DNA, cell organelles, so parts in the cell, like the mitochondria, for example, or big cells like our brain cells, or accumulates plaques in our arteries. All kinds of different things come together at this oxidative stress. That's one thing. That's slow accumulation.
So that's
damage.
what NERV2.
That's what NERV2 focuses on. And then we have NERV1, which is the basic loss of energy production. We all know that, and it's like as we're getting older now. How old are you, Darren?
Pretty young.
Pretty young. Okay.
47.
47. Well, I'm 46, so we're both the same age. You know, we don't have to wait till we're 70. Energy, right? I mean, or before we have this damage in oxidative stress.
Because as I get older, I notice a loss in energy.
Exactly, and it starts already in our 20s. In our 20s, we start accumulating these things. You don't notice at that point, but it does start at that point, particularly because of environmental impact and our own lifestyle choices. So those are the three things. NERV1 focuses on loss of energy production, loss of efficient energy production, and NERV2 helps us restore the balance that we're losing increasingly when it comes to oxidative stress, the balance between protection and damage infliction.
So with mitochondria, I mean, a lot of us are not scientists like you. We don't have PhDs in biochemistry. Do you kind of want to give us the who, what, when, where, why, how of mitochondria, just so that we start with a consistent basis of knowledge about
Good. So a mitochondria is in every cell. Every cell has mitochondria. Cells, throughout our body, we have very different kinds of cells, and mitochondria are our energy power production plants. That's what they do. Energy in every cell. And some cells need a lot, like our heart muscles cells, right? They need a lot of energy, so they have a lot of mitochondria. Other cells, like your ear cells, for example, they don't need this much energy production, so they have less. Has them, and what they do is you talked about biohacking, hacking, understanding a complex system and knowing how to manipulate it into our favor. That's exactly what mitochondria is. A good example, because the mitochondria have a term which some biochemists may recognize called Krebs cycle. It's a complex biochemical process. It's like an engine that constantly turns, producing ATP molecules, and ATP molecules is our gas molecule, our energy molecule, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's a complicated term, but that will be the last one. So this cycle, keeps on turning, and as we age, we kind of lose the number of mitochondria. They can destroy.
So there's more than one per cell.
Exactly, there are a bunch. There are a bunch, and particularly oxidative stress between NERV1 and NERV2 cause a reduction of mitochondrial number in our cells over time. It starts already at the 20s, as I said, so don't wait till you're 70 before taking NERV1. And second, the ones that are left also accumulating damage and are not as effective anymore in producing that energy. So what you want to do is more mitochondria throughout your life. You want to increase the number, and you want to make sure the process by which they produce energy stays efficient. And if you think about the Krebs cycle, at the symposium I will talk, it's like a big biochemical process, a circle. There are all kinds of, you can see this as a factory, right? There are different workers, which we call the enzymes. They're doing all kinds of different steps, right? And these enzymes, we can influence the effectiveness by which these enzymes are made, or by which the effectiveness by which these enzymes work, right? And that's where we hacked that code. We didn't understand that 20, 30 years ago. We didn't know about mitochondria. We discovered first there, then we discovered what they do, and now we discover how they do it, and which components in that cycle are key to make the mitochondria produce the energy. And that's where NERV1 plays a role, because NERV1 has 5 ingredients with the individual workers, enzymes, in that cycle, and they promote that optimal function of those enzymes and the way they work, and that makes sure that cycle of energy production keeps on working.
So, as I've read biohacking books, if I were to condense down what they talk about, part of it is, look, you've got to address oxidative stress. Number two, you've got to address mitochondria. Two big things that are being talked about. So why Protandim NRF1? Why?
Well, it's very simple. We want to make sure that the reduction of mitochondria and efficiency, we want to counteract that, because there is a lot of studies out there that show that loss of mitochondrial function also has a direct link with degenerative diseases later in our life. So we want to keep our energy at high levels. First of all, because we like it. We like to have energy when we're like our age.
Well, how would I feel if my mitochondria is degrading? I mean,
well,
what are the symptoms?
There's a part that you don't feel, which is the damage. You don't necessarily feel damage to important parts of your body. Yeah. But second, you will notice it that your short-term energy is not fulfilled, meaning that when you decide now, okay, now I'm gonna go up a few flights of stairs, right? I don't have the immediate availability of energy to do that, and halfway I'm kind of dead tired, right? If you have adequate mitochondrial production, adequate energy production, you're gonna have a store of energy which is immediately usable at peak performance. That's one aspect, the short term.
And now this is just a question that I'm having. I've been starting to exercise a lot lately, and I noticed that, like you're giving the stair example, if I go out and I'm exercising quite a bit, yeah, I can get to those stairs and run up the stairs. And does exercise also help with the number of mitochondria?
Sure, exercise too. If you every day or a couple of times a week, you're going to stimulate your body to produce more of that energy production plants, provided it can do so, right? Okay. And that's what NRF1 also has an important role. It unlocks our body's ability to produce those mitochondria to make them more efficient.
So unlocks, does it help to optimize in any way? Okay.
Yeah. Two things. Yeah. So it makes, we have proof with our research that our ingredients in NRF1 stimulate the biogenesis, so that the creation of mitochondria, and we have proof that parts of that Krebs cycle are working more efficiently. That's not in vivo proof, that's in vitro proof. That's how you start doing this, right? You isolate those mechanisms in the lab, and then you can see how those ingredients actually promote that functioning. So the short-term energy is going to go up, and the long-term, right? You have a lot more. I'm not sure if you run, but if you would run, you have a longer time until you are completely. It's simple as that. It's like a battery. It's like a battery. You have your energy ready to be used when you need it. And that's how you do it.
Well, I know with me, I just started getting back into running, and really, as I go through cycles, sometimes I haven't taken my NRF1 a lot, but I'm absolutely dedicated to taking both NRF1 and NRF2. And just my own personal experience, I know that, I've been running for maybe, a month and a half, 2 months. And yesterday I just went and ran 12 kilometers. So,
right.
Big shock, but I try to always run at least 5 or 10K, but up to 12. But at least in my own personal life, I'm feeling, I do feel more energetic, for sure.
I like what you just said. You said you usually run 5 or 10, and now you went for 12.
More like 5. Okay. But now
usually
I'm like
5, and now you get 12.
10,
but that's an exact indication that you have more visual energy stored in your body. Because when you reach that 5K point, you're not drained yet. You might as well continue.
I feel good all day
too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is a key indicator that NRF1 is working for you, and that you have more usable energy when you need it.
So does NRF1 or NRF1, Protandim NRF1, work with Protandim NRF2? How do those two work?
Well, it's interesting that mitochondria are the biggest producers of oxidative stress as a result of the good thing they're doing. Oxygen is used in the mitochondria to produce energy. You produce more energy, which is a good thing. You can regenerate your cells better. You can regenerate your body better. You also produce, therefore, more free radicals, right? So NRF1 is a very fantastic add-on to NRF2 is a fantastic add-on to NRF1 because, it takes away that damaging component of having more energy available. So that combination is, in my view, essential when you look at aging.
So you're saying it almost has to counteract the benefit of the other,
To some extent,
because I hadn't thought of it that way. As you get in better health, you are probably producing more oxidative stress.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked about synergy, and that is, you know, if you look at the market out there for dietary supplements, there are more products that have synergy, but it's usually one level of synergy. It's like within one formula that focuses on one condition or one health concern, you have synergistic components. That's not new in itself. We have a deeper level. We have a two that within our products, but then we have the second level where you say nerve 1, nerve 2, and some of our other products work together and enhance each other's function as well. So it's like a two-layer going on, and I think that's really fantastic and unique.
And part of this reason was the reasoning from a marketing, again, bundling those two products together. And that's why we went to the steps of actually connecting them with the packaging, because we knew of the synergy between the two products, and that it was necessary to, well, we thought it was necessary to take them at the same time, as well as we even expanded out, and in additional doctor series that we have, we'll talk about how, you know, the gut health, digestion also plays a huge role in, you know, our immune system and everything. You know, all of the products are, you know, we're trying to design them to work together synergistically. And I'm glad that a scientist like yourself sees that that accomplishment that we've been doing.
So there, you know, we talk about complex systems. If you only think of the energy production, it's already complex in itself. But then you have the component of complex systems working with another complex system, like the gut health and immune stimulation, right? Those are two complex systems in itself, and together they work on a different layer of complexity. So I applaud LifeVantage for making a product for this and a product for that, but really look at the complete synergistic effect that we want to accomplish. Biohacking the aging code is not one thing. It's a combination of things. And if you just work on one aspect of it, you kind of lose sight for the other one. And you want to do it at the same time because you can increase of your benefits for your aging process.
Well, very good. Well, Peter, if our time's running short, if you had to summarize everything, why do we need these products? And then any other pieces of wisdom that you think our LifeVantage team members would enjoy?
Well, Darren, thank you for that question, because, you know, it's when I talk about LifeVantage and its products to you know, I'll say it like this. I say, hey guys, you know, we can talk about diseases, we can talk about health, but what are we facing really? And that is just, you know, a combination of things happening in our body. And that's because of aging. Nothing scary, just a normal process. Our body knows it. Our body knows how to deal with it. We just want to make, you know, we want to stack a deck of cards. We want to make sure that we are knowing what our body is doing when it ages, and we want to prevent the bad things and upregulate, so stimulate the good things like more energy production, but reduce oxidative stress. So, you know, if you have to zoom in, I would zoom in on these two things. Did you know that because of living longer, you accumulate a lot of damages in your body, and you can prove it with all kinds of degenerative health concerns we're facing today, and you have a reduction in energy production, the two major things that we're facing. And we have two products that, you know, work with your body's own mechanisms, stimulate what needs to be stimulated, slow down what needs to be slowed down, and as a result, have a very synergistic effect. And, you know, we have already studies that, you know, we can extend life. We know that.
In male test animals, I guess, male mice by 7%.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. And you know also that we share about 99% of the DNA with the male mice, right? Yeah, okay. So
I didn't know that, but
yeah, well, now you know. Well, but that's so we are really tackling that aging process, and you know, our science and our research that we're doing make us understand step by step what is important for our body as we age. And not only that, but we really work together with our body. We just don't work against it, or we don't like to fix something that's wrong. No, we just stimulate what our body knows best. And that is really powerful from a nutritional point of view.
Well, thank you, Peter. And thank you for talking to us about really the synergistic effect of NRF2 along with NRF1 and the importance of mitochondrial health. It's been very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan.
And thank all of you for today. We'll see you next week. I'm not sure which doctor we have scheduled, but we will do this series presentation every week. So I look forward to the next one. Till then, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.